Hello, my name is Bob Bentz and I am president of EmergencyPlan.com. In this video we will be focusing on the Family Disaster Emergency Plan. A must-have tool to prepare your family, including your pets and each family member for any type or size of emergency. By implementing the plan ahead of an emergency or disaster, your family will understand exactly their options and actions to take. Items included, like the individual ID card for each person to carry, contains critical identity and emergency contact information. Because the product is in Adobe PDF format, it can be used on both Apple and Microsoft computer platforms. By the way, the Department of Homeland Security stresses that every family should have a family disaster emergency plan. This 38-page unpopulated document, based on our more than 20 years of disaster emergency planning, covers the critical information needed by all family members to deal with small emergencies as well as regional or national catastrophic events. This includes theft, fire, flood, hurricane, earthquake, plus much more. Our economical product pricing, along with a network of national business partners, provides assistance if needed. These capabilities now make disaster emergency planning a reality for every family and/or company employee. As a small to medium-sized business owner, you have a responsibility to your company and your employees to prepare for a disaster or emergency. Because of the economical company pricing, many organizations are making it available to all their employees. Typical cost is $395 for a company to distribute up to 500 employees. Yes, that's less than 80 cents per employee. Also remember, employees that are prepared for an emergency event are more likely to recover quicker and be back to work sooner. Of course, there's much more to the program. I will now give you a preview of a few sections that are included in your family emergency plan. Assume your family may not be together when a disaster strikes. So have you planned how you will contact one another? Think about how you will communicate in different situations. Disasters can strike quickly and without warning. It can force you to evacuate your neighborhood or confine you to your home. Families can and do cope with disasters by preparing in advance and working together as a team. Knowing what to do is your best protection and your individual responsibility. For example, on this emergency plan cover page, it identifies names of family members and contact information, as well as family meeting places inside and outside of your home, as well as outside of the area meeting places, which are all critical depending on the event. The table of contents provides a quick overview of each area covered by your family disaster emergency plan. Each of these sections includes critical detail information or tasks needed at the time of an emergency and when recovering from an event. Some of the most critical areas are listed on this page. Do you have a family disaster or emergency plan? Natural disasters can strike quickly and force families like yours to evacuate your neighborhood. Families can and do survive emergency events if they make preparations in advance. Knowing what to do is your best protection and your responsibility. What would you do if basic services such as water, gas, electricity, or telephones were cut off? Local officials and relief workers may be on the scene after a disaster, but they cannot reach everyone right away. My personal family information. The possibility of public health or disaster emergency occurring today concerns many people in the wake of recent hurricanes, floods, workplace violence, acts of terrorism, and the threat of pandemic influenza. Though some people feel it is impossible to be prepared for unexpected events, the truth is that taking preparedness actions helps people deal with disasters of all sorts much more effectively when they do occur. The key to success is having information available that could be lost or unavailable during or after an event. Personal family information is a document collected information before and after the event for each family member to ensure we are prepared. As you can see from this sample page, it includes contact information, medical information, emergency meeting places, plus much more. Simple things like the picture could prove valuable during a search and rescue mission. The emergency ID card is a wallet-sized card that contains critical information about your health and other information that may be needed in a critical situation. This is a must-have for children, seniors, and anyone with a medical condition. The key components are each individual's identifying characteristics, medical and contact information, as well as your picture. The emergency contacts page is a list of contacts to be used before, during, and after an event. Often these contacts play an integral role in dealing with the event as well as event mitigation. In addition to the emergency links, the emergency event status links provide links that will keep you informed about the event status. It could also include public safety information or even when you are able to return. Documentation identifies information which is important during the event and in the recovery process. As you will view this list, I am sure you will see the value in having the items available. This information should be part of your GO kit or emergency evacuation kit. Imagine having to leave the area and never having access to this information again. Documentation is a must-have for each family member. The time to do this is before an emergency event. Don't procrastinate. As with all our information pages, you have the ability to add additional items. We provide some of the most popular items for your consideration. The purpose of the net worth statement is to provide a high-level picture of your financial position. This is critical information should you be faced with any type of emergency, including fire, flood, job loss, death, or other event. Things to consider. If your net worth is not positive, you may be on a path to financial problems. Look for ways to cut expenses and increase income. You may also be interested in our family budget cost of emergency spreadsheet to get a handle on your financial picture. You should also have an emergency fund available to carry you through 9 to 12 months should an emergency event occur, such as job loss. Recovery, rebuild, and return may represent items that may be needed if your home is damaged. Without some of these items, it could become extremely difficult and untimely to recover from a major event. The combination of many individuals facing the same challenge at the same time is a prescription for delay and confusion at best. Document before and after event conditions. Photograph and inventory your property and contents before and after an event. A third-party professional is recommended because they usually have experience in insurance company requirements and the results will be more credible as a third party. As you can see from this page, there are many items to consider when preparing to rebuild and return home. After a flood or fire, it becomes difficult to prove what you had even to rebuild the home, let alone the contents. It is amazing how one simple disaster or emergency event can devastate your family. Since most families do not have a family disaster or emergency plan, they are vulnerable. Just imagine for a moment Katrina, New York, or New Jersey in 2012, the storms, or a fire, and imagine that is where you lived. Are you and your family ready to survive an emergency event? This family disaster emergency plan is the perfect tool to create your family plan and prepare for the unknown. This is basically a family survival insurance plan, a must-have tool to prepare your family, including your pets and each family member, for any type or size emergency. By implementing the plan ahead of an emergency or disaster, your family will understand exactly their options and actions to take. Also remember, employees that are prepared for an emergency event are more likely to recover quicker and be back to work sooner.